Have you ever stayed in a hotel and just thought, how on earth do they build hundreds, maybe even thousands of these rooms to be exactly the same? I mean, especially for the electricians, it seems like a mountain of work. But what if I told you there's this clever shortcut, kind of like a cheat code hidden inside the official electrical rulebook that makes the whole process way, way easier? That's what we're going to dig into today. Seriously, think about it. Just wiring one room involves lights, outlets for the TV, the hairdryer, all our phone chargers. Now imagine an electrician having to calculate the electrical load for every single one of those things for 500 different rooms. The time, the cost, the sheer amount of paperwork. It would be an absolute nightmare. There's got to be a better way, right? Well, thankfully, the smart folks who write the electrical code totally agreed. They built a really efficient workaround right into the system, and it's specifically for places with tons of identical units, like hotels and motels. And that is the secret we are going to unpack.
Okay, but before we get to the shortcut itself, we really need to understand the giant rulebook it's hidden in. We're talking about the big one, the National Electrical Code.
The NEC is, for all intents and purposes, the safety Bible for electricians here in the US. It is a massive, and I mean massive document that sets the standard for pretty much everything electrical, all to make sure things don't, catch on fire or cause other problems. It's all about safety and consistency. And when I say massive, I'm not kidding. Look at this thing. It covers everything from basic wiring and materials to incredibly complex communication systems. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of pages. And our little shortcut? It's buried deep inside just one of these chapters. So let's zoom in. We're diving into Chapter 2, Wiring and Protection. This is where all the foundational math for an entire electrical system really happens. Yeah, this chapter is all about figuring out exactly how much power a building is going to need. Engineers calculate what's called the load, which is really just a fancy term for how much demand all the lights and gadgets and everything else will put on the electrical system. Getting this number right is absolutely critical for keeping circuits from overloading.
And right here, tucked away inside Chapter 2, we find it. Section 220.44, the rule for hotel and motel occupancies. This is the simple, elegant solution to our 500-room problem. This is it. This one little phrase is the heart of the entire shortcut. The code basically says, hey, for the standard outlets in a hotel guest room, you can skip all the extra math. Why? Because a safe minimum value is already baked right into the rules. It's a perfect example of smart, efficient regulation.
So, what does such outlets actually mean? The rule is pretty specific about what is and what is not covered by this handy little shortcut. So, let's break that down. So, this shortcut covers three main things. First, you've got your regular everyday wall outlets. The technical term is receptacles for things like lamps and your laptop. Second, it includes some specific plugs for certain appliances. And third, it covers the standard lighting in the room. Basically, it's the whole shebang for a typical guest's electrical needs. And for those everyday outlets, here's the key detail. The shortcut only applies if they're rated for 20 amps or less. Now, don't worry about the technical jargon. Just know that this covers pretty much every standard wall outlet you're ever going to find in a hotel room. Okay, so we've seen the rule, we know what it covers. Now let's zoom back out and ask the big question. Why does this one small paragraph in a giant rulebook actually matter so much? What is the real-world impact here? The best way to think about it is like a template or a cookie cutter. Instead of designing from scratch every single time, the NEC provides a pre-calculated, pre-approved electrical load for a standard hotel room. It's a standardized unit that designers can just use over and over and over again, safely and reliably. And the difference this makes is it's staggering. Before this rule existed, engineers were stuck in this complex, super repetitive process for every room. It was slow, and honestly, it was prone to mistakes. But now, they have a fast, consistent, and reliable method. This saves an insane amount of design time and makes sure every single room is built to the exact same high safety standard. It is a total game changer. It really makes you think, doesn't it? This is just a perfect example of a small, elegant rule that solves a huge, complicated problem. It kind of leaves me wondering, what other hidden shortcuts and clever standards are built into the world all around us, just quietly making our lives simpler and safer every single day?